Good morning, friends. It's Joe. Welcome to my scripture reflection for Sunday, September the 15th. We are halfway through the month of September. We have some beautiful weather here in the Northeast. Hopefully, it's nice by you as well. As I always say, we make the most out of every day, regardless of the weather, regardless of the circumstances. We always need to reach down to our inner self, find our strength, and find our joy, and also find our purpose. Of course, Jesus is there with us, always, to help us do that. In today's gospel, he is going to highlight one very current way to do that. So, without further ado, I will ask you to quiet your minds and hearts as we prepare to hear today from St. Mark, chapter 8, verses 27 to 35. Jesus and his disciples set out for the villages of Caesarea Philippi. Along the way, he asked his disciples, "Who do people say that I am?" They said in reply, "John the Baptist, others Elijah, and still others one of the prophets." And he asked them, "But who do you say that I am?" Peter said to him in reply, "You are the Christ." Then he warned them not to tell anyone about him. He began to teach them that the Son of Man must suffer greatly and be rejected by the elders, the chief priests, and the scribes, and be killed and rise after 3 days. He spoke this openly. Then Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him. At this, he turned around and looking at his disciples, rebuked Peter and said, "Get behind me, Satan. You are thinking not as God does, but as human beings do." He summoned the crowd with his disciples and said to them, "Whoever wishes to come after me must deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. For whoever wishes to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake and that of the gospel will save it." If you've lived long enough on this earth, you have been through different buzzwords, I call them. For a while, diversity was one of them, change was another, and there have been many others. I believe that one today that I like more than some of the others is self-awareness. I hear it through educational efforts. I hear it all over, but I hear it more often than not as a way to try to bring some self-awareness within each one of us so that we can realize that our joys and our purpose are found internally. Jesus, I think, sets a powerful standard for this and a clue of how to continue to foster our own self-awareness in today's gospel when he asks, "Who do people say that I am?" When he's asking this question, he clearly knows his own self-awareness. He is a leader in it, as he is in everything else. And 2,000 years ago, he set this standard for this ever-present self-awareness for each one of us. But there's something else here that he alludes to. You see, we are all made in God's image. If we are made in God's image, in his image, then we have part of his self-awareness as part of us. And we must recognize that, and we must work that into our daily life. Interestingly, he goes on and he talks about adversity at its height, I might add, right? He's going to be rebuked. He's going to be thrown out. He's going to be crucified. He's going to be handed over. He's going to be all these negative things, all adverse things is what Jesus alludes to on his own self-awareness, thereby giving us the hint that that is where we find ours as well. Peter rebukes him and says, "Wait a minute, I don't know about this." And he sternly puts him back in place. Now, it's up to each one of us to say, well, where is my own adversity in life? And how is that working with my own self-awareness and my purpose? And what can I do about it? Enter in my beautiful Shelby. You may know my Shelby. She is the star of 2 of my books, Shelby's Grace and God, Shelby, and Me. You could find them on Amazon, by the way. But Shelby was a beautiful soul who came into my life, who had an incredible amount of adversity in her early life when she was dumped in a shelter, probably a bait dog. Shelby and I created quite the bond. But I realized something in Shelby that was absolutely appropriate to the gospel today. Shelby took all the adversity that was given to her, realized in her own powerful self-awareness way that it was to be used for her own purpose, and by doing so, she became an incredible therapy dog. I look back at her often, and she is certainly someone to look at in this gospel today as somebody who really took Jesus' message to heart. Now, some might say, yeah, he's talking about a dog taking this gospel to heart. Yeah, I am, and I'll continue to do so. But we know plenty of examples, don't we? We know of people who have had substance abuse issues and have then turned around and used them to help others. We know many other stories as well, don't we? And that is why Jesus points us in this direction for our own internal adversities that we have faced, not to dismiss them totally, but to use them to create our own positive self-awareness and find our own peace and joy, and yes, lead it to helping others. Well, my friends, that's my message for you on this Sunday. As always, I hope it was helpful and you could take it into your day. I always welcome and appreciate your comments and your thoughts. I thank you for them in advance, but I always appreciate just your presence here with me. With that, I want to wish you all a wonderful Sunday, and I will see you back here tomorrow for an animal spirituality video. Have a great Sunday, everyone. Take good care.